Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 3 Wide NASCAR Edition. This week, the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series is at Talladega Superspeedway for the Geico 500. Overall, this race had its peaks and its valleys, with cars just running in single file lines, to go into 2 wide, to go into 3 wide, sometimes 4 wide. In the end, Joey Logano won the race, ending his winless streak that stretched all the way back to the first Richmond race last season. Overall, just a middle-of-the-road Talladega race. The thing that frustrates me is people not wanting to go until it's too late and then wondering why they didn't win. Now on to the 3 takeaways from the Geico 500. Number 1, the manufacturer team-up. For the last couple of years, it has been all the manufacturers teaming up with the same cars when they pit and when they work together. It's a line of Fords versus a line of Toyotas versus a line of Chevys. This has its ups and its downs, but overall, this race really showed what this team up does to teams. Where later in the race, it doesn't even matter if you run for a different team, you guys still think you're teammates and won't race each other. I understand why the manufacturers team up and understand why they use it throughout the race, and overall pretty much like what it represents. But I don't like how it's executed late in the race, where teams just stay together even if you're not teammates. As long as you have the same emblem on the front of your car as me, I'm staying with you even if it's for the win. Number 2, the tale of 3 stages. In stage 1, the car stayed single file and looked like they were just trying to get to the end of the race, which is completely understandable after Daytona. In stage 2, it was still a single file line with about halfway through the field, about another half line showing up, so about 1.5 lines, still pretty much keeping it together until there are some cautions. Then in stage 3, it went from 3 wide to 4 wide, back to 2 lines, then with about 20 laps or less left, they go back to one single file line. This baffles me. You're going for the win, and then mysteriously, we're back in the single file line like nothing is happening. This irks me so much, because then this leads to how we get to the end of the race, and then people wait too long, and then we have the same person who's been in the lead for 20 laps win the race. It seems like it takes a bump like we saw at Daytona to get someone out of the way who's been in the lead for so long, and I just don't understand why people stay in this single file lines. And number 3, it's kind of been the theme of the video so far, but waiting too long to go for the win. As we saw with about 20 laps to go, all the cars got into a single file line and really wouldn't move. It seems like people thought that these cars could get a bigger run than they did. We heard David Reagan, who was running in 6th at the time, say he was going to wait until 2 laps to go to make a move. This made no sense to me, because I feel like however many laps are left, if you're in that position, that's when you got to make a move. If you're in 10th with 10 to go, it's time to start moving. 9 with 9th, 7 with 7, 4 with 4 laps to go. I don't think you can just pull out and make a move anymore. The cars really didn't have the runs that they were getting at Daytona this time, maybe because they took away the self-adjusting track bar from the drivers. But it just really makes no sense that people wait so long, and then when they go into the interviews after the race, it's like, I think we really could have had something when we waited to go. No, you had no chance. We all knew this. When it gets to 2 to go and everyone's still in a single file line, it's going to take a weird bump or a Christmas miracle to get past the leader. Now, on to what to look forward to next week at Dover for the AAA 400 Drive for Autism. Number 1, Jimmie Johnson looking for a win. After a 12th place finish at Talladega after being involved in a wreck where William Byron took the air off of him, Jimmie Johnson looks to get a win at the same place he won last year at Dover. He won the first race at Dover and finished 3rd in the second race. This has many people circling Dover this weekend for Jimmie Johnson to get on the board and win. Number 2, Martin Truex Jr. looking to get back to form. After a 14th place finish at Richmond and a 26th place finish at Talladega, where at Talladega he was caught up in a wreck, Martin Truex Jr. looks to get back to the championship form many people thought he maybe could repeat going into this season. As we've seen at Dover in the past, whether he was with DEI or where he's now with Furniture Row, Martin Truex Jr. is a past winner there in 2 different kinds of cars. We'll see this weekend if Truex can get back on the board at Dover and get a W. And number 3, which Dover are we going to get? As we've seen at Dover in the past, even just like last year's race, we never know which Dover we're going to get. We could get the Dover race where it's just a bottom that works and you really can't go anywhere else, and it's kind of just like a bigger Bristol race. Or we can get the Dover where all the lines are working, just like in 2016 between Matt Kenseth, Kyle Larson, and Chase Elliott. And in the playoff race last year at Dover, between Kyle Busch and Chase Elliott, where Kyle Busch was using the top while Chase Elliott was stuck on the bottom and couldn't get past Ryan Newman. To me, I hope we get the race where all the lines are working and people are flying around, where the bottom's working sometimes, the top's working, maybe the middle, and maybe we'll just get one of the better races of the season so far this weekend at Dover. Now just some drivers to look out for this weekend, just judged off of last year's result. I think Chase Elliott, who finished 5th and 2nd in the races last year, is a good choice. Jimmy Johnson, who I talked about before, who finished 1st and 3rd. Kyle Larson finished 2nd and 5th last year. Daniel Suarez finished 6th and 8th last year. Martin Truex Jr., who I talked about earlier, who finished 3rd and 4th at both races last season. And for the Fords, as I was looking at last 2 years' result for both races, the top Fords in race 1 were Kevin Harvick in 9th and Danica Patrick in 10th. She obviously will not be one of the better performing Fords this weekend. And in race 2, it was Clint Bowyer finished 6th and Brad Keselowski finished 10th. I don't know if Ford will rebound or will they be like they were last year here at Dover. And that'll do it for 3 Wide. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.